Welcome to Eggcellent Adventures, where I, your host Reec Swiney, take a step away from my duties as a radio and TV personality and give you a first-hand look at my other love, BlackYard Chickenz and homesteading. Take a listen to conversations I have with others who are in farming, homesteading, and connected brands. And some of those conversations go a little like this.
She does say I have too much, though. She says I have too many, but I don't think I have enough.
The chicken math started mathing.
Yep, it's never ending.
I only started with like 4 laying hens. Now I have over 100 chickens and geese and quail.
So the first question we ask everybody that comes on to the Eggcellent Adventures, what was your old cluck moment?
The first thing that comes to mind is when the first time I got locked inside one of my own chicken coops.
We talk about the highs, the lows, and everything in between. Now let's see who's on this episode of Eggcellent Adventures. We're back for another episode of Eggcellent Adventures. I'm your host, Reec Swiney, broadcasting from Media Campus West. We have another chicken mama on. This woman is incredible. When I talk about just making content creation, videos that everybody loves. She also has products out here that I got to sample, by the way. We got to talk about all of that. But without further ado, let's introduce her to you. We got Nikki Houston of Purely Chickens in the building with Eggcellent Adventures. What's going on, mama?
Hey, thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. I mean, you're like chicken royalty. We got to get you on.
People say that, but it's just the luck of the draw. If your videos go viral, you know.
Yep. Let's talk about it. So the first question we asked is, what was your old cluck moment? What was that moment that you knew you were in the chicken game for real? You are official chicken mama.
Okay, so I used to teach kindergarten. That was my life before what I do now.
Okay.
And my first year teaching kindergarten, I had a mentor teacher who hatched chicken eggs in her classroom, and she said, "You should hatch chicken eggs." And I was like, of course. You know, I've done a lot of weird things growing up, raised baby bunnies, baby mice even. So I was like, okay, I'm in. And the day that first chick hatched, or maybe even the first pip, that was in 2006. That's the day that I knew that I was hooked.
2006. Okay, so you're probably the most seasoned chicken mama we had on the show. That's pretty cool. So you said at that first peep, that was it. You just knew that was your moment.
Yep. I was like, all right, I'm in. Chickens are cool.
That's really cool. So you went from mice to chickens. That's also a first. All right. How was it like transitioning from education into what you're doing now with the products and content creation and just teaching people about the world of poultry? Yeah,
it's a very weird switch, I decided to stay home. My plan was to be a teacher until I retired. That was my plan all along. And then I had my second son and decided to take a year off and be with my little ones. And at the end of the year, my husband looked at me and he said, "You're not going back, are you?" I said, "No, I want to stay with these babies, you know." And now they're in school, which is fine. But during COVID, I actually put a video online of my chicken coop, just kind of bored one day and randomly put it up there. And it went viral. And we went on vacation the next week. And my sister-in-law's watching, you know, my TikTok. And she's like, "You have 10,000 views. You have 20,000 views." And she, you know, she was like so excited. And I was like, "What is TikTok? I don't even know. I just randomly posted a video, you know." And it just went from there. I started answering questions for people and really kind of brought me back to my education roots, because education is like in my core. Mm-hmm. And I love educating people, whether it's kindergartners or people who are older, who are, you know, getting into chicken. So it really wasn't a hard transition for me. It's just kind of educating in a different way.
I got you. Guess usually what we ask next is, how did you get started? But it got started for you. You put a picture up randomly. So did it start taking off on all the social platforms at once, like TikTok? Because I know I think I've met you first on Instagram. You have a like couple 100,000, almost 300,000 followers there. So I was like, wow, this is pretty big platforms you have.
Yeah, TikTok is my biggest platform. I'm most active on Instagram, which is kind of funny. And I started on TikTok. Once that got to be like, okay, I'm gaining followers, I decided to say, hey, I'm also on Instagram. And then people kind of migrated over there a little bit. So TikTok is still my biggest. I think I haven't even checked in like a week, like 350,000 or something there. Mm-hmm. But I also have YouTube and Facebook too. And it's really I just post the same videos usually throughout different ones. YouTube's a little different because you can do a lot longer there. But yeah, I have a lot of fun doing it.
That's pretty cool. That's definitely cool. So when you started seeing the followers on TikTok, is it a difference now? Because I noticed on my TikTok kind of exploded. It jumped up like 2 or 3 times. I got to about 85, 86,000, and then it just evened out. And I haven't seen much movement there. And I really wasn't worried about it. But it got frustrating for me for a second because I was like, nothing's moving. I get like 1 or 2 views, and I was getting 1 million views before.
Yeah, it's definitely changed from the beginning. The beginning, you could do a 15-second video and you get 4 million views. Now you have to do it over a minute, and they've got all these different changes. And if you're not, doing the TikTok shop stuff, I feel like the stuff doesn't get pushed out as much. Obviously, I'm not an expert in the algorithm, but I think that's kind of what's going on. You always see the TikTok shop stuff. If you're promoting a product, they're really pushing those out, but they're not pushing out just like plain old education videos.
Gotcha. All right. Well, luckily you have products.
Yeah, I'm not on TikTok shop though, so right. It's got to be those, those cheap chintzy.
Right.
TikTok's not listening to this, but no offense, I get it, but yeah, it's just there's nothing on there for chicken keeping that's worth anything.
Mm-hmm. So. Right. I saw like some egg basket thing. I was like, maybe I can get that, and it was terrible. So
yeah,
I was like, never mind.
Never mind.
I got you. So what birds did you start with?
Orpingtons were the first ones, and they still have my heart. I love Orpingtons. Their eggs are boring, but they are good layers. They come in all different colors, which I love. I love a mixed looking flock. I want to have like chickens that are identifiable so I can name them. I'm that kind of chicken keeper. They all have names. Some of them have middle names. I know their personalities. I know where they're going to be in the yard. So yeah, Orpingtons, I love them because they all look so different. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I think that's why I fell in love with chickens with Orpingtons. I started out with some comments and they were kind of rescue chickens, even though I didn't know they were rescue chickens at the time. Now I know. Well, my Orpingtons were great. They were actually friendly. So they used to come up to me and let me pick them up and all types of stuff. So
yeah, I've got a couple rescue chickens who are the same, the golden comet, the golden buff. They call them all different things, but they're the same breed. And yeah, they have their issues.
Yeah, definitely. I got like 3 that are debeaked. There's all types of stuff, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yep. So I know you said you started with hatching with that first peep. So when did you start getting into brooding and like buying baby chicks and stuff like that?
Oh gosh, I don't even have a date on that. I hatched every year in my classroom starting in 2006 and kind of just went from there. But then went to a Meyer hatchery to kind of visit one day, and I was like, ooh, there's some like really cool breeds here. I need to have one of each of them. And it's really hard not to buy one of every single breed.
Right.
Like, I feel like
it's impossible. It's like, especially if you see them, you're right there and you were in a hatchery.
Yeah. I've done like backstage tours of Meyer hatchery and gone there for like, I've done videos and stuff with them. So I've seen them like in the incubators and like on hatch day. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And they're all in these like little labeled bins separated. And I'm just like, I want to take one from each one. Bring them home, but
spring has sprung, and guess what? That means chick season is here. So if you're looking to start your flock, add to your flock, or maybe add a few ducks, chickens, or geese, My Pet Chicken is the website for you. And if you're just getting started, they even have a tool to help pick the perfect poultry for your backyard flock. Check them out today at mypetchicken.com. Right now, you can get $10 off when you join the SMS Club. mypetchicken.com. Raise fun, happy, and healthy chickens from live poultry to coops and supplies. My Pet Chicken has everything you need to start, grow, and maintain your backyard flock. Shop today. mypetchicken.com.
We live in like a neighborhood, like an allotment. And so I kind of feel like I'm already bringing down the neighborhood. I've got goats. I've got geese who are super loud. We've got, my dad and I have huge gardens that are usually messy all the time. And then we've got, how many chickens do I have? 35 right now or something. So it's like, okay, don't bring home every chicken right now.
I got you. I know that's kind of tough when chicken math hits. Like you have access to a backstage of a hatchery, and if you got different animals, like how does that work with you with chicken math? Like what was that first experience like?
It's pretty hard. It's pretty difficult. I think I got I brought home a whole bunch in the beginning. And then realize like, okay, now I have a whole bunch, but now I can't have any more the next year, because I'm already full and I'm just going to sit here and twiddle my thumbs while these chickens live out their lives. And we don't eat the meat that we have. We don't eat them as meat. So
Right.
they're just living here. And even if they stop laying eggs, they still just live here. So we're full for a while, and luckily I have a lot of friends that are in my area who have chicken coops too, or have started because they are watching my chicken coop. And so I'm always like, hey, would you love to have a Jubilee Orpington?
Yeah, of course.
So it's really easy to give them the good homes around me. But yeah, I try to keep it chill.
Man, that's pretty cool. How was that though? Like getting the local community and your friends seeing your social media and now you're inspiring them. Like, how was that for you? Because coming from an educational background, that's all you hope for is to be an inspiration to somebody.
Right. It's weird for me. I don't get recognized a lot unless I'm at Tractor Supply.
You're a star there.
Yeah. Or if I go to Meyer Hatchery for something, somebody will stop me. We were at a restaurant once. I was with my girlfriends, like just having like a girls' night. And somebody came over and they were like, can I have your autograph? And it was so embarrassing because I'm like, there are so many famous people online and I only have, a handful of followers compared to these people. But I think because they're local, they see my stuff, that tends to be how it is. If you're local, then you kind of see local people's stuff more. And my friends are like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, no, I don't want to be recognized. Like, I don't want people to know me. Like, you can see me online, but don't tell me you watch my videos in person.
Does it make you nervous?
Yes.
Well, that's too bad because I'm sorry to break it to you. People here in Georgia know you too.
All right, cross Georgia off my list.
There you go. I'm glad I could help because you're pretty famous out here. We were having a farmer's market and we were talking about the podcast. We had some flyers up on the table and it was like, oh, yeah, coming up. And I mentioned you and a couple other people. And they're like, oh, yeah, I love her stuff.
Oh, geez.
So there you go. There you go. And you're like up in Northeast, right?
Yeah, we're in Ohio.
All right. Okay, cool. So what are the predators like? What do you have to watch out for?
Hawks are our biggest one. Okay. We have hawks. We actually have a bald eagle who's I live next door to my parents and they have a big pond and there's a bald eagle nesting right above. And we have fox. They really haven't been too bad. I've never had a raccoon or anything like that break into my coop. We do have minks around here and weasels. They haven't gotten into my coop yet. So fingers crossed that they don't. We have coyote too. So coyote are always on the prowl. We can hear them at night. They've been good. They haven't dealt with my chickens at all. So that's great. The only thing I've had trouble with are stray dogs and just hawks. So that's really the only thing. But the other predators are here. But so far, my chickens are secure enough. They haven't been able to grab them.
Okay. And you have a dog, right? You guys have dogs.
I have 2 dogs. One of them is a bird dog. That was a bad move. He's a great dog.
Is he triggered all day long?
Oh my gosh. He's always in point mode. He's an English setter. Yeah. So he's always like pointing at them. And I'm like, I know, I can see them. It's cool. It's cool.
They're actually ours.
Yeah, right. If he catches one, he just holds them and waits for me though. So he doesn't
oh, that's good.
We don't let him down there. But if he the kids let him out the front door, you know how that is.
Yep. Yeah, man, that's pretty cool. Well, at least he's a good bird dog where he knows not to break skin.
Yes, yeah.
Right. I know you kind of graduated from chickens to goats to geese to what was the next step? Like, what was the multiplication after chickens for you?
Goats were the next thing I got. And I always wanted goats from the time I was 4. And my dad was always like, no, we're not getting goats. No.
You live next to him.
And now we live next door. And my dad, he gave us some property. He has 20 acres or so. And he's like, hey, do you want a chunk of land? And you can build next door. And I'm like, of course, I'm 38. Of course I'm going to move next door to my parents.
Right.
So I moved in, I got settled, and I said, Dad, guess what? We're getting goats. And he was like, oh, come on, man. You don't need goats. And I'll tell you what, my dad was right.
Oh, wow. I thought you were going to say now he loves the goats. He was right.
He does. He'll get them out. My mom and him will get them out and they'll take them on walks in the woods and stuff. And they go down and feed them. But they are sort of useless. Do you have goats? I think you do.
I do. I have goats. I have very useless goats as well.
Yeah, they're so useless. And most of mine have horns and they're always butting me. And, I've got one with a broken hoof right now, a broken leg. So he's in a cast. And it's just like my chickens have eggs. My geese lay eggs, my garden produces vegetables, my goats do nothing. So it's just one more thing on the list to take care of that they don't I love my goats, but I would
Mhm.
never do it again.
Yeah, it's like mine. I have all female, so I can't kid them. I can't milk them. I can't make products. They're just good for feeding and petting when they want me to pet them.
Right. Yeah. When they're babies, they're like little puppies, and then they
Mhm.
grow up and they're like, do you have food? Okay. No,
Yep.
bye.
Yep.
So, yeah.
That's all they want is food and to make a mess, like knock things over
Yes.
and get into chicken feed. It's a mess. How do you keep your goats out of the coops?
They have their own barn and like fenced in
Right.
pasture, and my chickens have their coop and their fenced in little pasture, and they do get in. I never thought my goat, I have a big, he's a Nigerian dwarf, but he's like the
Mhm.
biggest one I have. And I thought there's no way he can fit through an automatic chicken door,
Oh,
So
yeah.
I was cleaning out the coop and he was coming in and out, and he squeezed right through and got into the run, and he's just gorging on chicken food, So
Mhm.
as long as the doors are shut, they don't come in.
Yeah, it's the same with us. I have a Nigerian dwarf, all Nigerian dwarfs. The biggest one, they're all rescued. So the biggest one, Maisie, she got right in that little door. And every single time, I'm
They
down
go
a
to
whole
me.
bag of feed. It's nuts. But yeah, so I'm just gonna wish you luck to that. I did see. I hope your goat gets well soon. I saw the broken leg in the red cast.
Yeah, he loves it.
It's good that you guys have a vet, like a livestock vet in the area. If I was finally able to find one, he's like 15 miles away though.
Yeah. Yeah, this guy's great. He doesn't charge a lot. He comes out, but he said he's going to retire soon, and I'm like, "Oh no."
Oh man,
Oh,
does he
no.
have anybody else in the practice that's going to take over?
No, it's just him, and he said the only other one around here that he knows of only does horses. They don't do like the smaller livestock stuff.
Oh wow.
So, we'll be in trouble, I think.
Right. What are some of the other resources besides veterinaries that you guys like utilize? I've talked to some people that I'm really close with my county controller now because there's not a lot of people out here that have livestock or chickens. So what about you guys?
I actually haven't talked to anybody from the county.
Hmm.
I don't even think anybody knows I have chickens out here.
That's actually probably a good thing.
Yeah, we have a couple. We live in like a very rural area, so we have a lot of local farms, and so they've got feed and hay and that kind of stuff, and
Mhm.
we get like tons of pumpkins from them for like 25 cents a piece at the end of the season, and toss them in with the goats and the chickens, and they've been like probably my only resource. Meyer Hatchery is really close, they're only about like 45 minutes from me, so that's nice because I can go there for supplies if I need to, or for chickens.
I got you. I mean, that makes sense though. They got all the chickens, they got all the stuff.
Yeah, we also have our area does like, it's really big in 4-H, which is like, you guys have 4-H there?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We do,
Yeah.
but it's not huge right in my area because I'm like right on the border of like suburban and rural. So,
Okay.
but like 5 miles up is super rural. So and they have 4-H stuff too.
Yeah. So that's helpful because almost everybody I know is involved in animals. So you can get lots of advice and things like that. But the 4-H around us is like huge. Like we plan, our school calendar gets based on when the county fair is.
That makes so much sense. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm hoping like my youngest daughter gets into it. Like she
Yeah.
likes getting eggs and stuff, but I'm hoping she gets into it.
Right. I did guinea pigs when I was little. Guinea pigs and rabbits in 4-H.
That's one thing I know I could easily Google it, but I want to ask a guinea pig expert now. Like, what is the purpose of a guinea pig in America?
Not much.
Because I was like, I see some of these elaborate guinea pig houses and hutches and stuff, and I'm like, why do they have this many guinea pigs?
Why? Yeah, they're pretty pointless. They're like the goats. Well, they're like female goats without a male.
There we go. Okay. So what do people use them for? Did they use them for meat in other places?
Probably.
Okay. Because I
I,
was
don't know,
like,
I was like 6 when I did guinea pig 4-H. I didn't learn anything.
I'm not eating the guinea pig anyway. It's like a big mouse. I don't need it. Yeah. No, we got a rabbitat now. We have a bunch of rabbits too. But I know you guys have geese. Tell me about your goose journey. I don't know how to say that.
Yeah. So I've even said on my social media platforms, like, I'll never have waterfowl. Like, I'm not doing it. They're too messy. I don't want them. If I had a pond, that'd be different, but I don't. So, I'm not going to get waterfowl. And then somebody posted in a local Facebook group this picture of this goose. And he said, last chance. I'm going to call him tomorrow. He's going. And he had a crooked neck and he had angel wings. So his wing was sticking out and he looked horrible. And I just impulsively said, bring him to my house.
I'll take him.
Bring him to me.
Gotcha.
And we like fell in love with him. I have a children's book out about him now. Well, it's not a him. We thought it was a him. The guy told us it was a him. And she lays eggs now. So it's a girl, but her name is Benny. And yeah, she's great. So we started with her, kind of rehabilitated her because she had never been around water deep enough to dip her bill in. And the guy was feeding her chicken food. So that's probably where all the deformities came from. And so we taught her how to swim. She has to have shallow water because she sinks if not. Taught her how to eat because she really wasn't doing well eating. Anyway, so she's really great. And then I thought she needs a friend. So
of course.
Another little gosling, and now we have 2, and that is it because they are super loud. Do you have any geese?
No, I have ducks, and I am not a fan. I am not a fan. We got 3 ducks. If it would have stopped there, it probably would have been great. But we got 3 ducks. It was cool, right? And they started growing. We actually have 4 ducks. 1 duck we lost to a snake, right? So right after that, I was in Tractor Supply trying to replace 1 duck, of course. And you leave, and I had 6 when I left. Right. And 1 had a little balled up foot. His little web foot was balled up. He couldn't walk. It was pretty much, he was the last one to go, but it was only 5 other ones. So I was like, well, just give me all of them. Right. And then we used to put him in a little bowl every day so he can work that little foot. My vet told me just put him in a bowl of water, see what happens, see if it'll strengthen up. And it did. Now he's the prettiest little Cayuga duck you could ever meet. But they make such a mess. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So I can't find a solution for water because I don't want to go and give them water every day by hand and clean it out. So I've tried like 6 different waterers. Whew. Yeah. I haven't been able to find crack the duck code yet. We've reached that part of the show where we hook you up with some insider information. And this time it's some egg side information. Y'all know what I mean. Because people ask me all the time, how do you get your chickens so fluffy and healthy and happy? And their eggs are so bright, beautiful, and they taste delicious too. I would love to dedicate all those things to me coming in and having a great time in that chicken coop every day and shaking it up with those ladies. But the fact is, it comes from a healthy and balanced diet of Purina's Laina. That's the brand we use. Whether you've got laying hens and you want to go with the Purina Laina plus omega-3, or you got a bunch of baby chicks running around in your brooder and you go with that Purina Start and Grow Crumble, you can't lose. I know we haven't. So visit their website today, and in 3 easy steps, you can get discount coupons for the Purina product that's right for some great nutrition for your animals. I did it myself and it only took me about 2 minutes. It's absolutely worth it. And to make things easier, we have the hyperlink on our website, BlackYardChickens.com. Just look under product of the month and you'll see the link right there to go and try your Purina Feed Greatness. And through their trial program, they can pair you with the right nutrition and let you try it with your animals and see the results. Now, I can tell you all day how Purina Feed Greatness has been absolutely phenomenal for my chickens, goats, ducks, and rabbits. But you can see for yourself. Go to BlackYardChickens.com. Now let's get back to this week's adventure.
They're a mess. I see people with like duck ponds where they, dig a deep hole and they actually make a duck pond or a goose pond. And I've thought about that, but we can't with Benny because she won't be able to swim in that. So I just have a little kiddie pool and I go out there every morning and hose it down and fill it back up. And it's the same gross dirty the next morning, but they're kind of a pain.
Yep. Same with those kiddie pools, and they got to refill them every day. Yep. That's funny that Benny's a girl, that you got a Benny that was a boy that lays eggs now. That's what happened with us with the ponies. We got a rescue pony, Jesse and Maggie. Jesse was a boy until the vet came.
And then she started laying eggs.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. I know up there in Ohio, you guys get pretty harsh winters. What are some of your winter hacks that you use, or some of the things that you may start to utilize when it gets colder?
Yeah, we wrap our run for our chickens. We wrap it in plastic, and I've kind of been upgrading slowly around the run because we have a pretty large run and I feel like we're wasting so much plastic. So I bought like the corrugated reusable stuff, and we screw that around now. So we're making our way around because it's pretty expensive to do that every year, so we do that. We wrap that. I've got extension cords that go out there, and have heated waterers. And that's pretty much all I do. I obviously close the windows in my coop, but I don't do anything. I don't usually heat the coop. If it's really, really cold, like if it's getting, down below freezing, I will put up those sweeter heaters. They're like, I hang those because I have some chickens with really big combs, and if not, they get frostbite. So I do that, and that's pretty much it.
Oh yeah, that makes so much sense. Like I was talking to Shocker Chickens, and he said that sometimes they have to really watch this Polish and the chickens with the big combs of hair. The real pretty ones don't do well in the colder extreme weathers. No,
they don't. They sure don't. I got some silkies right now that my kids hatched out this year, and a couple of them are frizzle silkies too. So I'm like, these guys are going to need some extra love, I think, this winter.
Yeah, they might end up being house chickens.
Right.
I got you.
My husband's going to love that.
Is there any method to the madness with naming these chickens?
I used to try to pick really cute names, like Dorothy and, Marge and stuff like that. And this last batch, I let my kids name them. And now we have one named like Lazy Susan. And
I saw the video.
Yeah, just like the weirdest names they picked out, Frizzy and Fizzy or something. I'm like, okay. They've been trying to name one Fluffy since the day we started. I'm like, Fluffy? Really? Do you think of anything better? But now I don't really care because I have so many. I'm like, I'm out of names. Pick one. I don't care. So yeah, Lazy Susan is our newest funny one. But no method. Sometimes I let my followers do it. I'll put up in my stories like, help me think of a name. And they have like the best names sometimes. So it helps.
There you go. We got to use that community.
Yeah.
Tell me about this product, because I was, I made my video. I was excited about it because I just recently got these rescue potbelly pigs, and luckily pigs are pretty clean, but they all poop in one spot, and that spot is rancid. So I've been using the fresh scoop all in the pig pen instead of in the chicken coop. But
do whatever. It's called Roost Refresh. So I work pretty closely with Eat and Pet and Pasture, and I was like, they're like, what is there? There's something that you want to like come up with that, isn't out there. And I said, please help me. Like, let's do something for the shelf in my coop. I've got like a shelf under my roosting bars, and there are things out there that people use, but I've always found them like they're too dusty. They don't, deter pests. There's always flies on them. Just they're too expensive. They're hard to find. Even in my book, I have a product like, this is before we made this, and the one I show in my book is impossible to find anymore. So I'm like, help me think of something. Let's do this. And we just like collaborated back and forth for months. They would send me, like, we'd come up with an idea. They'd send it to me. I would try it. And then we'd like, okay, let's change it. It's called Roost Refresh. It's the same as the hemp bedding, but it's the fines, which is helpful for them because in the production of the hemp, those fines are naturally created, and then they've got this extra waste. So now we're using it for Roost Refresh, and then we added a bunch of flowers and herbs in it to make it smell great.
And that's really cool. That's an amazing collaboration too. I love working with them.
Yeah, they're great. They're really great.
We've reached that part of the show where we hook you up with some insider information. And this week, it's all about Eatin' Pet and Pasture. And I got a 20% discount code for you. As farmers, we know the love and care it takes to raise happy and healthy animals. So choose the best when it comes to bedding, premium cut Timothy hay, and treats for your furry and feathery friends. So if you're looking for super absorbent hemp bedding or nesting pads for your laying ladies, look no further than Eatin' Pet and Pasture. Check them out right now at eatinpetandpasture.com. And first-time shoppers get a 20% discount by typing in Reece at checkout. That's REEC at checkout. Now let's get back to another excellent adventure. They are. So I was, needless to say, your go-to bedding is hemp bedding.
Yes.
Cool.
And I used to use sand, and it was always really dusty, but I found it to be the easiest to clean. And not, I didn't have to shovel it down there all the time. But then they reached out to me, I want to say like 2 years ago now, and they said, can we send you hemp bedding? And I kind of was like, okay, yes, you can send it to me. Yes, I'll try it. And I really didn't have high hopes in it because, I just had never tried it. And I tried all these other beddings, and then I kind of fell in love with it. And I was like, all right, we're ditching the sand.
That's it. We use it with our goats too in their barn.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So after a day after they stopped eating it, then it worked out great. It's not for consumption.
Right.
It worked out really good. So we definitely would try, but no, we use your product in our pig pen, the chicken coop, and in the rabbit.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
It's really,
that.
really good. Really good. So tell us about, I know you just mentioned your book. I wanted to ask you about it too. Like if someone's starting their chicken journey, I think that this book is a great resource.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. So, I wrote, that book wasn't even my idea either. I had a publisher reach out to me. And when you start having followers, people start like approaching you, as I'm sure you know, and they just were like, hey, can we sit down and talk about writing a book? And I was super excited because when I was teaching, I was even in the newspaper way back when, and they were like, what's your goal? You know, what do you want to do after, what do you want to do in addition to teaching? And it was always write a children's book. That's what I wanted to do. And so when I sat down with these people, I thought, they're going to help me write a children's book, and they were like, oh no, you misunderstood. We wanted you to write a chicken keeping book, like a real book. And like, okay. So I'm like, I need to think about this. And so I sat down that night and I kind of came up with an outline of what I would want it to look like. And then I met back with them. They presented it to their board and they were like, okay, it's a go. Let's do it. So it wasn't my intention to write a chicken's book. But now I have a children's book out too. So I'm happy with that. That's good.
There we go. I love it. All of the above.
Right.
That's amazing. One one TikTok post has got you to be a published author, 2-time published author. You have a product that people really love and use. And now you're a social media star.
Yeah. Oh, geez. That's weird. You ever like people ask you like what your job is and you're like, I do social media as a 40-year-old woman.
For a living. That's what I do. No, that's too funny. Like because on the other side of this, I do radio. So, and I've been on a couple TV shows and you would think people would know you from that. But most people I meet are like, you're the BlackYard Chickenz guy.
Your Instagram name, by the way, is genius.
Thank you.
It was an instant follow when I saw it just because of that. I'm like, that's genius.
There we go. We're going to keep it. We're going to hold on to that.
Yes.
Cool. What is one product that you use a lot that you didn't think, like that unexpected thing or item or product that you use a lot around the homestead?
A sifting shovel. Because we use sand in our run. So, I didn't even know sifting shovels were a thing. Like I don't know. I think I don't know what they're meant for, but I found one on Instagram or on Amazon. I was like, oh my gosh, that'd be great for the sand. And it works perfect. So that's something really dumb that we use almost every day. So.
Okay. No, that's cool. It's zip ties for me.
Zip ties. Yeah.
Man, zip ties on everything.
Yeah. The goat fence. Our goats always seem to like break the super strong metal staples in the fence posts. And then my husband's like, oh, I fixed it. And he's out there with zip ties. So yeah, you're right.
Yep. Exactly. Like saying a pig rooted underneath the fence, the metal fence, the metal things. Zip tied it all down. He hasn't been out since.
You can't figure it out.
At all. So I love it. Zip ties are my thing. What's one piece of advice you would give to somebody starting out?
I would say build bigger than you think you're going to want and do it right the first time. But that's hard to say, I guess, because, you think you do it right the first time and then you realize, oh, I should have done this different or that different. And I think even now I'm still evolving every time every year comes and I'm like, oh, I think I should change the way I did this. And even like this weekend, I'm going to change the level of my roosting bars and, just you're always evolving, but I don't know, do it right. Do it the best you can the first time. It doesn't have to be expensive. My husband and I use like scrap material to build our chicken run. But yeah, I would say just do your best and know it's probably going to change. So.
Right. Let's talk about mental health benefits with having these animals. Like, what has it done for you or your family?
Yeah, I think that is the biggest surprise, I think, with keeping chickens is that they could be so helpful for mental health. And, I've got other animals. I have dogs, I have cats, but the chickens are so peaceful. Like during, we were all locked down and my kids were home and we were trying to decide what we were going to do with schooling. And there was all these like what ifs and what do we do when it was that, big tragic worldwide issue. I had a lot of anxiety. I had like heart palpitations. I was getting lightheaded all the time. And the only thing that helped was going out sitting in the grass and letting my chickens just like, peck around. I would bring treats for them, and just like, it's so quiet, and they're so, they're so simple that, you're not having to like, I have a dog and I love him, but half the time I'm chasing him or,
tell him no.
something. And he's kind of chaotic, but the chickens are just so calm and peaceful. And it really does like quiet my mind when I'm out there with them.
Got you. Same here. And it's impossible not, I say this almost every day. It's impossible not to laugh watching a chicken run.
Right.
It's impossible, especially a big one.
Yes, the big, huge ones. Have you seen David Beckham's chicken?
Yeah.
It looks like a Brahma rooster. It's like huge, and it's just like,
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah. How's it? Because I see you have roosters too. Like, how was your rooster journey?
Yeah, I never wanted a rooster because, like I said, we live in a neighborhood and there's no regulations here because of how rural we are. But I was just like, I probably shouldn't have a rooster. But we hatched him, and the kids named him Michelle. They thought he was a girl. And then, it started crowing one day, and I was like, well, I guess we have a rooster. And, you kind of exhaust a lot of areas to get rid of roosters if you do it for a while. So like, we'll just hang on to him and see what happens. And he is the best rooster. He is protective over the girls. He feeds them. He keeps them from fighting. Like, there's never any pecking issues. Like, for the most part, if they do start to squabble, he runs right over and he like shows them his chest and he's like, you better stop. and they do, they're pretty good about it. So we do like having him, even though he wakes everybody up. But the hens, we have 30 hens, so they're just as loud as him.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, and that's what one thing about it. People think the hens are quiet. No, they're not. Yeah. Especially when they get to making the egg song.
Oh yeah, and they're so loud.
What's one thing that like surprised you the most about the chickens?
I would say the mental health thing. I think that was probably my biggest surprise. I didn't think that would happen. So yeah, I would say that for the most part.
No, that's really cool, man. I really appreciate you coming on. Definitely. It's been a pleasure. I've been following and watching. We're big fans of all your footage and all that type of stuff.
Oh, thank you. I'm a fan of you too.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And then the garden, like what are some of your favorite things to grow?
Well, my garden is attached to my chicken pasture, so it has to be all chicken friendly stuff.
Okay.
So my dad has another garden that we kind of share. And that one has all like the tomatoes and the peppers and stuff like that, we aren't going to give to the chickens, but they can have that stuff, but they can't have the plant of it. And so we will clear it out of all the produce, my garden, at the end of the year, and then let the chickens in, and they get in there and they help pull out all the weeds, and they dig around, they eat all the, the vegetables that we're not going to eat. And they do that all winter, and it helps keep them busy. So we have cucumbers in there. We do pumpkins, watermelon, squash type stuff. I have a big bed of garlic this year. My chickens are blocked off from the garden right now because it's not their turn. It's my turn.
It's your turn.
It's my turn right now. Spearmint. We got a lot of spearmint, and then do a lot of herbs. What else? We did strawberries last year. They didn't do well, so I'm doing those on my deck this year.
Okay, cool. So that's really cool to like, you have the garden, you get everything you need out of it, and then just let them have at it afterwards.
Yeah, for sure.
So your chickens are your cover crop.
Yep. Exactly.
That's really cool, man. Nikki, we appreciate you coming on and talking to us with Eggcellent Adventures. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really had a lot of fun. This is probably the most fun I've had on a podcast so far. So
cool. I'm glad we could be that safe space for you.
Yes, exactly.
Hopefully we don't make you even more famous. The people interrupting you at dinner.
Whoa.
Just kidding. But thanks again. Thank you again. I hope everybody checks out our products. We really, really, really love that good smelling stuff.
Oh, thank you.
And tell everybody where they can get the kids book from too.
Oh, it's anywhere you can buy books. It's just called Benny by Nikki Husted. You can find it in my profile too. It's linked there. Okay,
cool. Absolutely. Does the goose know that they have a book named after him?
I did show her. She did not seem to care too much. So
Gotcha.
No one's recognized her at dinner yet. So
I got. One question I forgot to ask. How do you keep the hawks away?
Well, I actually just recorded a video about that today. So my chickens, they don't really free range out in the yard too much. Can you hear my air conditioner?
No, we're good. I can't even hear it.
I don't let the chickens out into the run.
Mm-hmm.
No, sorry. Okay, let me restart that over. My chickens have a run that's protected with a roof over top, and then they have a fenced-in pasture area, but it is covered in tree and bush canopy.
Okay.
So the hawks don't usually swoop down in there after them, which has been really helpful. The rooster's really helpful. He makes a call, and all the hens run into the coop. Unless they're silkies. Silkies are just like, what are we talking about?
Pretty. We'll just leave it that way.
Right. Yeah, they are so pretty. So yeah, the rooster and then the tree coverage. And then when they are in my garden area, I put bird netting over that for the wintertime.
Gotcha. Love it. Love it. Love it. And last question. If you had to just be forced to stick with one breed of chicken, what would that breed be?
Oh, man. I think it would be Americanas. Don't tell my Orpingtons because I do love them, but Americanas are so funny.
Okay.
They're so funny. And they're the ones that I've found to be the most friendly. Like if I rate them as from chicks, they're the first ones to perch on my shoulder, the first ones to find me when I go out to the coop later on when they're older. Yeah, I like them.
Cool. I just got my first Americanas and it came from a school project. That's crazy. Oh. Yep. Yeah, they're rehomes. They hatched out chicks out of school, and then they called me and they say, "Hey, one of our teachers follows you. Could you take these chicks?" So we got 11 Americanas now.
Oh, perfect.
Yep. Once again, thanks so much. We're gonna let you go. Get back to the farm. We appreciate you being on this episode of Excellent Adventures.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Excellent Adventures, powered by BlackYard Chickenz. Now, if you think you want to raise your own backyard flock, here's the site for you: BlackYardChickens.com. We make entertaining videos about raising baby chicks from scratch. You know what I mean by from scratch, right? Or maybe you want to learn how to take care of your own big chickens or hens and get those fresh eggs, building a coop or buying a coop, having the necessary things inside that coop to get great egg production. You'll learn a lot of the neat tricks I've picked up along the way from other chicken enthusiasts, and you can get pretty eggs just like those. So follow us on social media and check us out on our YouTube channel.